We're gonna take that off. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a couple weeks. There really hasn't been much going on around here, so I apologize for the once again delay in my videos. Just a cozy, chill Sunday here at home with Baloo. Tommy is on a rotation out of town again, so just us in this film. Today I wanted to talk about planning. Now some of you know I'm an avid planner. It helps me with my stress. I think it's a coping mechanism in a way. But I was planning professionally for a while until COVID happened, and then you can't really plan for anything when there's a national, international pandemic, worldwide pandemic happening. But I've been asked by people before how I plan my life, how I plan Tommy and my schedule, because we do seem to do a lot of things with our time, and people have just asked how we go about doing that, and I think Tommy would agree that it mostly falls on me, not out of he can't plan. It's more I like doing it, so I do it, and he goes along with a lot of it. So yeah. So I kind of break down with, first of all, I do all of my planning on a paper planner. I tried the iPhone apps and scheduling things, and I just personally don't like it. It makes me on my phone even more often than I would like to be. I'm always checking it, I'm getting notifications, and I just didn't like that. So I did that for a year or two and went back old school paper planner. And if you like the apps, go for it. It just doesn't work for me personally. Now, so here's my little planner. I think I got this at Michael's for like $5. This is actually one of those like bullet journal type where they're plain. There's like little dots on them. Because I also found that while I was buying pre-made planners, I really didn't like the layouts, or the time schedules didn't work for me, or there was all this extra fluff that I just didn't need in the planner, and I just wanted it to have what I needed and not what I didn't need. And this is supposed to make your life easier, not harder. So yeah, so for me, I break up my planner into a to-be list and a to-do list. To-be list is where I need to be. Appointments, scheduled things, meetings, things that have like a time associated with them, basically. My to-do list is everything else. Now I don't put on my planner like a morning routine and a night routine. Things that are kind of habitual, I don't necessarily put in the planner because they're kind of already in my mind. I don't need to write them down. For me, the things that I'm writing down are to help this not get so cluttered. So maybe some of you can relate to that. So that's kind of like the main way that I break my planner up. So some examples here. I don't think there's anything too private, but you know, it's life. I have my months. So on the months is where I'm putting my to be. It's where I've got to be, such as appointments, or right now it's a lot of Tommy's schedule since his is kind of all over the place. Baby showers, random things with friends, haircuts, doctor's appointments, things like that. And then my to-do list looks like, let me find one, like this. Can you see that? And that's where I write like little tasks I need to do, or remind Tommy about something, things like that. There's an Instagrammer that I follow, and she calls these types of tasks her personal admin type job. And I really like that, because as a person who works 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, sometimes on nights and weekends I still feel like I have things at home to do, or errands to run, or other tasks to do, and those are work too. I mean, talk to any stay-at-home parent. That stuff's all work too. So I don't like to think of it as just like, oh, this is just like my weekend stuff. It's like, no, this is my personal admin. This is a job too. This is my home job, my home life job. And if anybody is wondering, Tommy and I split home life things pretty much 50-50, whoever's available. So that's how we roll in this household. Anyways. And then I also put in my monthly calendar part, birthdays, holidays, things like that. One, because I like to celebrate those things, but two, it helps me remember like, oh, if I need to go to the bank and it's Memorial Day, it's probably going to be closed. So it just kind of like helps me plan those things out. So when I draw out these calendars, since I actually physically draw these, I put all that stuff in first. Put the month, put the day, holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, that type of stuff in the calendar first, and then I plan everything else around that because I can't shift an already made date. You can't shift Christmas. You can't shift someone's birthday. It's already there. So I plan around those things. And then at the bottom of my calendar, I put like, there's like little checklists here, and I actually put little check boxes here. That's like stuff I want to do in that month. So different goals that I have, or different things such as, let's see, what's one of these things? Oh, the community gardens are starting. So I don't really know what day I'm gonna go to that, but I know that I want to participate in that month. So that is something I try to find time for. Or the farmer's market is starting up that month. So like, it's a lot of like local things that are starting, or seasonal things that there's not necessarily a day to do it, but I know that I want to do it that month or that season and try to fit it in my calendar of things to do. I wouldn't consider those a task because they're not really something I need to do. They're not something that's part of my life that needs to get done, such as buy groceries. But it's something I want to incorporate in, and it's somewhere I'm going to be for a long period of time, such as the farmer's market. I'm probably going to be there for an hour or two, so I consider that a place to be, not a thing to do, because it's not a quick check it off the list type situation. And then as far as when I plan out these calendars and such, I like to plan, again, I did this professionally, so I'm kind of a planner nerd. I like to plan my months out about 3 months in advance, if not more. Again, I already know when holidays are going to be. I already know when celebrations, birthdays, things like that are going to be, so I can kind of plan around that stuff in general. But as far as like making hardcore details, I do about 3 months. So when we are planning a vacation or a trip or going to visit someone, it's usually a good 3 to 6 months that I'm already looking into that stuff. And that goes on both the calendar portion, I'll put start planning XYZ trip. And then I take that note and put it into the task part, this part, to say actually which tasks I need to do. So the month one is more just like a, hey, don't forget to start doing this. And then the task part is actually, okay, here's the steps you need to do. So that's helped us just kind of stay on some kind of schedule for travel planning and visiting other people planning and whatever else is coming up, because it's life. Other things are going to come up. Obviously, we all know how 2020 went. You can't plan anything that's going to necessarily stick for real. But I kind of believe in the whole, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I think that's how the saying goes. Yeah, and I kind of agree with that. Again, I understand that life is life and things change, things happen. But I think if you have a goal or a priority that you want to shoot for, like, start making your way there. It might change, who knows, but at least start going in that direction. Start saving that money for that thing. Start looking at the prices of tickets for something. Start reaching out to so-and-so that you want to visit to see if it's even a possibility that you go. Because I think what you value shows in your life. And I think a lot of times people make excuses. Well, we couldn't do this because it didn't work out. We couldn't do this because it didn't work out. And while sometimes I think that that's valid, like we couldn't help 2020 like shut down the world, there's other things that I think you can change around. There's actually the person who took Tommy and my wedding pictures is a photographer, obviously. And he just actually posted something recently that said something like, you put your money in what you value. And I totally agree with that. And I think you can even take it further. You put your time in what you value. You put your stuff in what you value. And so I think planning for something that you value, you're more likely to do it than if you just let the time happen. So I think you need to make things in your life a priority and write them down, whether it's digitally or paperly. And you're more likely to do the things that you want to do. With that said, what do you want to do? For me, does it surprise you that I make a list? So I have not only a 5-year plan, which I'm not showing you all, I also have a life plan in general that Tommy is aware of. Don't worry. And again, I'll say it again, I realize things change. I realize you can't plan every second of every day. But for me, it just helps me to put it out there, to manifest it, if you will. These are the goals that I'm working towards. These are what I want to do with my life. If things change, if things shift, if things move, great. The great thing about it is I actually revisit these lists pretty regularly, definitely every year, but even more so. I just kind of keep an eye on my 5-year plan and what we're working towards on that 5 years. And then every time I get a new planner at the end of every year, I update it. I check into the next 5 years and see if things have shifted around a bit, see if the timeline has changed a bit. And then I can take those goals that I have for my 5 years and plug that into the current year, and work with it that way. I also have not only like those life goals, but like just regular goals, like bucket list kind of goals. Like, let's see, I want to try lobster in Maine. It's like a bucket list thing. I've had lobster, I've been to Maine, but I haven't done the two together. So just random goals like that. I also just put those types of things in there. I put wellness goals that I want to work on each year. I actually, well, you've probably, if you watch one of my old videos, I talked about the wellness wheel. So I rate my areas of wellness every year, and I plug those numbers into this planner, and then I can reference back to it and see, like, how am I doing? Has this number increased? Has it decreased? Am I spending too much time in this one and not enough in this one? Just to kind of like check in on myself. I have a word of the year. I write that in here so I can reference it back. I have it all the way back to 2016 when I first started doing that. Just to see how my words have changed, just to see how I've grown and what I've focused on. I also have in here places and restaurants that I want to try in like the local area that we live in. Every time we move somewhere, I've been writing down all the places that I'm hearing about from locals, or in like those foodie type blogs and such like that. And I write them down, and then I can check them off as we go. And then when we're sitting around like, hey, where do you want to go tonight? Sometimes it's based off craving, because let's be real, a lot of us do that. But that way we kind of just don't get stuck in a rut where we're just always going to the same place. If you like the same place, go for it. We have a couple places like that. But we don't just get stuck. We have these other things. We're like, oh yeah, we also wanted to try that. Oh yeah, we also wanted to try that. And it's just been helpful for us to try new things that we wanted to try. They're on our list. I have my book list in here, which, as you know, I've read about half of these because I've just been reading a lot. Like affirmations and things for myself, my long-term goals, short-term goals, traveling goals. And I've talked before about my vision board. I actually keep that in here. So again, it's something I can pull out of my backpack and look at it on a regular basis to see if I'm still in alignment with who I want to be, and if the decisions that I'm making are aligning with the person that I want to be. And if not, I can see if maybe who I'm becoming is shifting, and that's okay too. Like, this isn't concrete, it's paper. But it just kind of helps me to reference it and see if I'm on the track that I want to be in life, or if I should shift it at all. And then finally, I think the last thing I do in here is I keep one page blank for the next year. So things that I don't get to this year or just didn't work out or just wasn't feeling it. Like I already have a 2022 list started, and it's just things that didn't happen between January and now in May that I know I want to do next January through May. And it's just been helpful so that I don't feel like I need to beat myself up, like, oh, I didn't get this done, or I didn't do this thing that I wanted to try. There's always next year. So that's been helpful, just knowing that I kind of have like a little way out, even though it's kind of made up in my own little planner. So yeah, that has been helpful for me to plan my days, my tasks, my months, my future, both shorter term within like 5 years and longer term within like a life plan, as well as making sure I'm incorporating healthy habits, wellness goals, things like that, and also like just fun goals, like I said, like the community gardens or things that I've wanted to try, and just kind of making sure that I'm finding a place for those things to fit in, so that life isn't just escaping me. Yeah. Again, I feel like there's definitely time to just let your life happen. I mean, life's going to happen whether you plan it or not, right? But I just don't want to get to the end of my life and not have prioritized things that I wanted in life and just always blamed it on something else, whether it's someone else or just, oh, I didn't have time for that. Like, that's an excuse. Like, I feel like you have time for the things you want to have time for. You have time for the people you want to have time for. Yeah, now that doesn't negate things like financial problems and other social justice issues. I'm not trying to negate that. There are things that you can't just be like, well, just do it. Sorry, that's not reality for some people. But in my situation, these are things that I can plan around. I can plan for. They are not things that I'm economically or otherwise unable to do right now. So I don't want to use those things as an excuse to not take the reins of my own life and go for it. So I hope that made sense. But yeah, are you a planner? Are you a just live life as it goes? Do you have any tips and tricks for planning? Are you a paper planner or a digital planner? I would love to hear it in the comments. Thank you for your patience as I have been gone for a month or so. And thanks for the little casual acceptance of me today. Anyways, till next time, thanks for watching. Bye. Hey Baloo, are you a planner? How do you feel about planning? How do you feel about planning, Baloo? I like that.